The future is going to be between those who have adopted AI and those who have not adopted AI. I think we kind of ask the wrong question. We say that, will AI take my job? No, someone who is completely equipped to take advantage of the AI tools. Person is the one who is likely to find the most career fulfilling jobs. So it's not AI or you, it's you versus you against someone who's incorporated AI into their way of work and life.
Yeah. I'm really curious about the topic of your interest now in research AI. You recently talked about this whole journey of an individual from, like you to qualify if I get it wrong, the afraid individual all the way to autonomous individual, right?
Correct.
Could you just
Yeah.
tell us what you're seeing? I believe you've gone to the depth of talking to people, figuring the whole thing out. Give us a little more of that. Yeah.
So right through my career,
Right.
information technology, I didn't see it as a enabler. I saw it as a strategic component. Even when I was in Grindwell Norton, early days, I was pushing for information technology and be ahead of the curve when it compared to competitors. And we did the same thing when we started the Sanghavan group. Early on, we moved into SAP. Early on, we said that we had to be ahead of the curve of competitors and industry in terms of adopting information technology. There was always at the back of the mind, this whole talk about artificial intelligence has been going on for the last 80 or 90 years. The society had not found the right way to develop machine intelligence. There has been several work on expert systems in the early 80s to, building a certain amount of decision-making tools and everything else. There's also been a lot of work on neural network and others. But all of them came together in 2022 when ChatGPT arrived into our
Phones.
phones.
Yeah.
I think it arrived quietly.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand the big difference between the previous generation of intelligence, which was predictive and largely machine learning, to the generative mode. I actually didn't realize that extraordinary pivoting that's taking place on this. And started understanding a little bit of the large language model. But while I was in Sanghavan group, I didn't have the time to invest to immerse myself. So post-retirement, I'm investing a considerable amount of time in trying to grasp this complex, societally transforming technology, largely coming out of the LLMs, and now it's going into many other areas. I think that immersion took place. So when you talk about AI today, the first thing people tell you is it a hype? Firstly, is it a scientific and technological hype? The second thing they say is it's going to have a big impact on jobs. Third thing they say is it's going to transform industries, and some industries may not exist as we know today. And the fourth thing is it just is going to significantly change the nature of human creativity. By extensive use of AI, are we going to dwarf our cognitive capability? All these are real. Everyone is talking about it.
Those four
The
things.
Nobel laureates are talking about it. Everybody is talking about it.
Yeah.
And then they say that government should go and regulate this industry because this is going to be...
There's the whole governance and regulatory layer.
Regulatory and things like that.
Yeah.
I said that all these are fine. I think the best of the minds who understand macroeconomics, evolution of jobs, industries are going to invest some time. I'm more concerned about the individual who's most significantly impacted by it, either in terms of that person's capability which is moving towards a machine, or in terms of the fact that the person's capability can be significantly amplified, augmented, and made that person significantly more performance oriented than what you would have been earlier. So I think there has not been enough work on what must an individual do on this. I talked about 17 different professionals. Start from a techie who's 24-year-old working for who's a computer science graduate, working for a international company in a GCC, but very restricted usage of AI tools, to very ordinary people who are doing it, to CEOs who say one thing in public, saying that we are now AI ready, whereas when you go and look at their organization, they're using it like a WhatsApp, some POCs here, some tools being used there. And so I think I said that we need to focus on the individual, because the most important thing is for the individual to adopt this, the greatest transformation. The reason for this is also second. In the past, an individual's access to the latest technologies took 15 or 20 years. When you talked about computers, the PCs came in 1985, late 85. You had the PC XT, 82, 86, 386, they all came. But for it to diffuse broadly to everyone, it took 15, 20 years. Same thing with internet from 95, 2010. Smartphones from 2007, today 2020. But I think AI is arriving too fast, too soon to everyone. So that means it is going to, you have access to AI as an individual. You have the same best tools that anybody in the world has got access to. So it's very scale neutral and agnostic to who you are, what your geography is, what your community is, what your educational background. But if the individuals don't grasp this extraordinary power and prepare themselves, I think they're at their own peril. So therefore, that's the reason why I focused on this I. And I think I see individuals in several dimensions. Either they are absenting from AI, saying, this has no relevance for me, or they abdicate themselves because they just surrender to AI. They just hand over the cognitive control to AI. Or there are people who are using it to accelerate their productivity, but not doing beyond that. And then there are people who are amplifying their capabilities, which is what I think in the last 1 year, that's what I'm doing, which is trying to amplify my capability to be able to communicate what my thoughts to the larger public. And there are people who are augmenting, adding new dimensions to their capability, what we call as the T-shaped or the pie-shaped individuals. You have subject matter expertise in 1 or 2 areas, but can I do the bridge? Can I broaden it up? Can I take this lens and apply it somewhere else? I think that's augmenting. And there are very, very few that I know of who completely manage end-to-end. The AI is fully integrated into the way they think, create, do, execute, and go back.
That's the autonomous.
The totally autonomous individual. There are very, very few. And I think, and the second thing is the time compression, which we talked about. All this is happening in an exceedingly short period of time. I think we can say anything, but in less than 5 years, you will find much of the average thinking work that we do will be machine enabled. In less than 5 years. I'm giving it 5 years, but more because I don't want to scare people, but it may even happen sooner than that. It's very evident. I think the maths is telling you, the scaling laws are telling you that. So given that we have a very short period of time, I want to focus on the individual's adoption of AI tools.
Just to narrate back, and before we go into the, let's say, a little more of how you define those individuals who could be at various stages, because I think it could be very informative to whoever is listening. But your argument is that before we get into the second order problems of what would happen to the industry, what would happen to, let's say, the layer of regulation, governance, what will happen to various other things, the importance and work at the individual level has far greater importance. So that's what you mean by the
Absolutely.
I of AI as
Yeah,
number one. And the other point is that the diffusion of the technology at scale in the previous cycles of, let's say, starting from radio, television, whatever, to internet, phones, etc., would have taken a number of years, whether it
Correct,
is
yeah.
10 years or 20 years, it's a
Yeah,
different
10 to
thing.
30 years.
10 to 30 years. But here it is almost like in matter of days or
Absolutely.
hours.
I mean,
So you have, so that's the time compression.
correct.
Thereby the importance that an individual comes up to speed much more quickly to what is the real power behind these technologies.
Absolutely,
That's the
absolutely.
point.
And
That's
the
phenomenal.
reason why I'm saying is that it's not only the time compression, it's also that the individual has access to the same technology
Yeah.
that the best in the world have.
Yeah.
For
At
instance,
cheap rates.
yeah,
Like it
I
doesn't
mean,
even.
today, if you pay 200 rupees, you have access to Claude, and
Yeah.
you can do coding which you in your life would never have imagined.
Yeah.
So I think when you have that kind of an access, when you have what I would call as a societal transformation, science and technology accessible to you, I think it's the individual's adoption which is going to make a very big difference. I don't think the individual has the luxury of time or the luxury of not adopting. Companies will take their own time. And the reason why I'm saying is companies are complex.
Yeah.
One industry differs from another industry.
Yeah.
And they take their own time. The diffusion pathways in a company for AI diffusion
Yeah.
will take a longer time because
Yeah.
the companies have to transform. There should be a change management. It's a complex process. Different companies will apply AI for different things. Most companies are applying it for productivity enhancement. In my opinion, that's a kind of a icing on the cake. The real cake is in growth, innovation,
Yeah.
and coming up new ways of doing things which you did not think of. And I'm sure it's going to happen in many industries. But an individual is going to be, you can't let your future be controlled by someone outside. It's your agency, which is your intent.
I was.
So
yeah. Please go on. Sorry.
the
I'm
future is
interjecting.
not going to be between AI and you. The future is going to be between those who have adopted AI and those who have not adopted AI. I think we kind of ask the wrong question. We say that will AI take my job? No, someone who is completely equipped to take advantage of the AI tools, which amplifies his expertise or augments her expertise or make her autonomous in many areas, that person is the one who's likely to find the most career fulfilling
Phenomenal.
jobs. So it's not AI or you, it's you versus you against someone who's incorporated AI into the way of work and life.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's phenomenal. Now I'm able to connect to it. And it's almost like saying that if I visualize two ends of, at an organization level, please correct me if this,
Sure.
that if I as an individual, I have outsourced this decision and agency to my organization to say my organization will figure out which direction it'll go and the impact of AI, versus if I'm surrounded with a bunch of people who have taken the agency on themselves and kept it internal,
Absolutely.
then you can actually, any organization, micro or macro, is actually comprised of these type of individuals.
Absolutely.
So the ones that are filled with one type versus the other type is the one that will define which ones will survive the journey in a better way.
Absolutely.
And come out of the curve in a much better shape than the other one. So it's as much a play of tech as it is, maybe more importantly, a play of mindset and how that individual approaches that.
Absolutely. The mindset that an individual must possess now is that how do I view my job through the AI prism? How do I learn to collaborate with AI tools? How do I make that my cognitive partner?
Brilliant.
If you don't have clear answers.
Yeah.
You immerse yourself, you'll discover that answer.
Yeah.
It's a discovery process. It's not someone who's going to come and teach you.
Yeah.
Organizations by default
Yeah.
will maintain very rigid protocols.
Yeah.
I think it's an individual who's adapting to these AI tools will discover that they are the ones who are needed for organization, as and when the organization decides how to manage the AI transformation.
Yeah.
Today, organizations are in a funk. They just don't know how to do this AI transformation. I'm talking about organizations which are the bulk of India. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
organizations which are in the frontier.
Yeah.
There are a lot of startups who are
Yeah.
in the frontier who look at AI first as a mindset.
Yeah.
But much of these organizations are saying, how do I navigate this? I don't think there is time for the individual. The organizations have some time, but the individual does not have time. The individual who is able to get AI as your cognitive partner, AI as your amplifier or an augmenter, that individual is going to do much better in any work or life than an individual who's not. So it's not AI, you versus AI, it's you plus AI versus someone else without that AI.
Beautiful concept, and that's what you mean by when you wrote about I of AI.
I is the individual and the individual's intent.
Yeah.
If your intent is irrespective of whether all this talks about will AI take away jobs, will
Yeah.
take away individual agency, what will it do to the society, will it atrophy me, blah, 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 all of
Yeah.
that. If we say, look, I'm going to understand this animal
Yeah.
before I come to a view about what this animal can or do to the society,
Yeah.
let me focus on that.
Yeah.
I think the individual's agency is critical, and very, very rarely in the history of mankind, an individual has the same tool as Demis Hassabis has,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Anthropic's
It has never
Carlos
happened before.
Amodai
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
You have the same tool as they have.
Yeah. And almost
And
at
they
the
are being
same time.
available to you
Yeah.
at 200 rupees, 2000 rupees, 20,000 rupees a month. At
Yeah.
20,000 rupees a month, you have the same tool as
Yeah.
the best in the world has.
Yeah.
When have we ever had access to a cognitive tool
Never.
that powerful?
Never.
And if you wait
Yeah.
for a company to train you,
Yeah.
develop you,
Yeah.
at whose cost are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. If you outsource that agency
To the company?
at this point in time to a company, you're dead.
I would say, I don't say you are dead. Maybe you are in a good company which looks at AI as central to their work. But if you're working for a company where
Phenomenal.
AI is not central to their work at this point in time, I think you're running out of time, because you need to immerse yourself to figure out what AI can do. I don't want to get into this debate, is this illusion of thinking, or is AI a statistical parrot? All it does is predict the next word. I think it does something which is phenomenal. It expands your capability. Take charge of it. Don't let that charge be left to
Yeah.
outside agencies.
Yeah. It also leads me to, I have one more question that I'll come to, which is because you have understood, building very successful businesses at scale in India. I'll come to its impact on our country. Younger organizations would have a natural advantage if you're bringing in people who are native to these technologies, and the ones that have existed for a long time. While the advantage of resource allocation is there, which is a very powerful tool, but they have to overcome this competency and mindset issue and that hurdle very quickly for them to be relevant, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think the organizations which are young at heart, you can have a very old organization.
But young
like
at
for
heart.
instance, Microsoft is 50 years old.
Yeah.
We're forgetting that it was
Yeah, yeah.
50 years old.
Yeah.
And look at what has happened to Microsoft. They have transformed themselves in the last 15 years, and they are going head to head on the AI.
Yeah.
And even though they are, you can call them as an infrastructure company because they provide infrastructure platforms for collaboration,
Yes.
for productivity.
Yes.
So I think it is really the mindset of the company that I want to take advantage of this. I do think that smaller companies which are nimble, which are open to outside influence, have a natural advantage. So larger companies, especially many of the larger companies in India, have to recognize that they have to challenge themselves from within. Unlike what the US large companies or the European large companies, they're looking at AI as a productivity enhancement. Indian companies can look at that as growth and innovation champions. Can AI drive my growth and innovation? I would say that if I were a US based traditional industry, I would say 80% of my resources for AI should be on productivity enhancement. If I were an Indian company, I would say 80% of that should be on growth and innovation.
Phenomenal.
I think this is very important. There is a dichotomy there.
Yeah.
And that's why you will find that most of the consultancies, when McKinsey talks about it, it talks about that you will unleash productivity improvement.
It's all productivity lens,
Yeah,
more
so
or
which
less.
is fine. But the moment you say productivity, it's a ratio.
Yes.
I think what India has to do is, we are a $4 trillion GDP.
Yeah.
We are 3.6% of the world.
Yes.
Just we have to remember that.
Yeah.
We want to go to a 10% of the world.
Yeah.
The world will grow at 2%, but we have to do it.
Yeah.
We have to unleash innovation growth. And that can come only when you adopt tools like AI.
And because the tech itself has diffused to the lowest possible, it has gone all the way up to the ground level and available at really good unit economics. That innovation and growth is really possible.
And there you have the demographic advantage.
Yes.
You have the access to a large number of people.
Yeah.
If they are equipped with the tools, it just levels up the differences in education, differences in income levels and other things.
Yeah.
And you have innovation coming from every strata of the society.
Yeah.
So which is, never has it happened.
Yeah.
It took probably 300 years for printing presses to become globally available.
Yeah.
300 years, 1470 or 80, Gutenberg invented his printing press. First it was suppressed, saying that if we allow this printing press to be available to everybody, everyone will become knowledgeable, so we should not make it allow. It took 300, 400 years for the printing press to become common technology. Here we have the most transformative technology the world has ever seen, which is augmenting your mind, which is cognitive expansion, cognitive amplification, is available to you as it is available to anyone, as it is available to people who had no chance in the society.
Yeah. That's the Kamakshi example that you gave.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Kamakshi is school dropout. She's from the fishermen's community. She had no chance in life. And today, Kamakshi is able to deal with veterinarians because this tool is helping us, augmenting our native intelligence.
Yeah.
To deal with veterinarians, to say that I see this bird is going through these problems. I checked with the grok and it tells me that it may be dehydrated. What do you think? Am I giving it too much water, too little water? Do I have to change its diet? I just imagine.
Yeah.
If a 8th standard school dropout from a fishing community can do this, what can the millions of people coming out of our schools and colleges in India, if they adopt this tool, just imagine the power of growth and innovation that India can unleash. Here, we have a demographic advantage.
Yeah.
Because the platform is available, scale agnostic.
Yeah.
That's really what I discovered. What I discovered at my level is that today I have a tool where I have a thought process. I can download it onto the tool immediately. I can speak into the tool. It gives me, and I can say that, act as my critique and tell me what's wrong with this idea. Tell me who all have thought of similar ideas and how have they done. And if the tool can give me within few minutes various possibilities, just imagine the time compression it takes place.
Yeah.
Because our problem is always we think of an idea,
Yeah.
then we go and tell our teams, and by the time there is a Chinese whisper kind of a
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
it dies very
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
I think that's the power, the time compression, the ability to amplify and augment,
Yeah.
and be also a critique to you
Yeah.
while you retain your agency and judgment.
Yeah.
I think that's a crucial thing.
Yeah, the retainment of the or
Agency and the cognitive control over the tool is very crucial.
Yes, yes.
You have to learn to do that.
Yes.
It's not going to come automatically. We didn't know many tools. I mean,
Yeah.
but we learn to use them. As we immerse in them, you learn to use
Yeah,
them.
as they say that more and more of the intelligence on a continuum will move towards the AI stuff, but
Correct.
the judgment remains with you.
Absolutely.
That agency remains with you. And also, I think there's a beautiful diagram that explains the S curve of adoption
Correct,
right. In the previous cases, you had a very long slope,
Correct.
but in case of AI, it's almost
It's
like
a very, very
vertical.
sharp. It's
Yeah.
absolutely sharp. I mean,
Oh.
it's dramatic. And I think we had Anthropic introduce a new Claude 4.6 in January 31st.
Yeah.
It looks like today, it looks as if it is dated, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I think that's a power of diffusion
Speed.
that is taking place. And I think a large number of CEOs are
Not
not
seeing it that way.
understood this power of diffusion that is taking place to the individuals. They're still guided by corporate protocols, protecting my current incumbent's advantage and many other things. In fact, I would say for a leader, if a leader doesn't view every part of his business through the AI lens, I think we should change the leader.
Yeah.
I don't think companies should be having a CEO who's not willing to look at every part of his company, whether it's growth part of it, whether it's the efficiency part of it, or whether it's the effectiveness part of it, whether it's the innovation part of it. If we don't infuse
Yeah.
AI as a spice,
Yeah.
I think you should find a new CEO.
Yeah. No, it's been phenomenal this way in which you have applied new lenses to it. And just as a recap, also allow me to say, Santhanam, that along with the leaders, what you also made real was what's important for the individual at every level of the organization that he or she thinks about in that continuum of being afraid of AI all the way to being the autonomous individual that is able
Correct.
to use that. I also would like to say that this, it's the first time I'm able to understand in real terms what growth and innovation through AI can do to India at scale
Absolutely.
versus going after the Western lens of productivity first led conversation that how many people can be removed and what is the
Absolutely.
cost that I can save.
Absolutely, yeah.
You just made it real
Yeah,
for
I
me.
think it's a denominator management versus numerator expansion.
Yeah.
You can do the denominator management, which is what the West does very successfully.
Yeah.
Or you can do the numerator expansion, which is what China has shown the world.
Yeah.
I mean, China has shown that I'm not going to be remaining at being a cost-efficient supply chain. I'm going to improvise. I'm going to innovate. And
Yeah.
that's why they've furiously adopted technologies. So I think India can be that. And I think the world looks at that. And if I'm not mistaken, some of the GCCs
Yeah.
are very clear.
Yeah.
And I know that two large companies from Germany and France, they're very clear that India will be the center for AI. And they're very clear that why? Because they believe that they'll be able to get the right talent,
Yeah.
and they believe they'll be able to deploy large amount of talent, and so that they can compress the time span, also do it at large scale at great speed.
Yeah.
So India today, very rarely we have scale and speed combining for India. Very rarely we have that scale and speed. The scale of the human capability that we have, unleashed by the technology that is leveling everyone, which is AI, as well as the speed at which you are able to do it because you are in a growing country. Scale and speed are our allies today.
Yeah.
Now, if any CEO in India is not looking at scale and speed,
Yeah.
leveraging AI,
Will miss out.
I think We have to change that CEO.
No, they're very, very. I think that could be the scorecard of selecting a CEO.